Welcome to ETH Daily, a daily briefing on the latest in Ethereum. Here's your latest for Friday, June 19th, 2026. Trent Van Epps warns about a potential funding crisis. Privacy Boost supports pre-confirmations. ZK ships version 1.0 alpha, and MetaMask now detects poisoning attacks. All this and more starts right after this message. ETH Daily sponsorships are now open. Reach over 10,000 Ethereum native subscribers every weekday. Learn more at ethdaily.io/ads. Ethereum contributor Trent Van Epps warned that Ethereum core development could enter a slow-burning funding crisis within the next 3 to 9 months, attributing the risk to the Foundation's plan to cut annual spend from 15% toward a 5% endowment baseline by 2030. He estimated that maintaining and shipping features across more than 10 client, research, and coordination teams costs roughly $30 million annually. Ethrex execution client lead Federico Carone pushed back, arguing the squeeze could be healthy by sharpening incentives and forcing accountability onto teams insulated from competition. The debate lands as the Foundation narrows its mandate. Privacy Boost added support for pre-confirmations, letting private transfers be treated as usable within a second rather than waiting for full on-chain settlement. The update targets the dead time between when a private transaction is submitted and when its zero-knowledge proof finalizes on-chain, letting an application trigger the next action while settlement continues in the background. Security and finality are unchanged, with every transaction still settling fully on-chain. Privacy Boost is a plug-and-play SDK from OP Labs that adds confidentiality to any OP stack chain by combining zero-knowledge proofs with trusted execution environments, part of a broader Ethereum privacy push. And lastly, ZK released v1.0.0 alpha, marking the start of the stabilization phase for the high-performance zero-knowledge virtual machine. The codebase is now feature-frozen, with development shifting to security audits, formal verification, testing, and hardening. ZK is an open-source ZK-EVM that spun out of Polygon as an independent project, generating low-latency ZK-Stark proofs for trustless, verifiable computation on RISC-V programs. The release hardens distributed proving, refactors the executor into distinct execution, planning, and witness generation stages, and adds BLS 12381 signature verification, aggregate BLS verification, and optimized CP56K1 and CP56R1 operations. ZK also moved its default Merkle tree hash from Poseidon 2 to Poseidon 1 in response to recent attacks on Poseidon 2. In other news, MetaMask now detects address poisoning attacks. This was a roundup of today's top news stories in Ethereum. You can support this podcast by subscribing and following us at ETH Daily. Also, subscribe to our newsletter at ethdaily.io.